2018 may very well have been the craziest year in recent political history, but there's every reason to expect 2019 will be even more nuts. As we await the conclusion of the Mueller investigation, Democrats with subpoena power are poised to bring investigation to nearly every aspect of the president's political and business life, and we can predict how he will react to that new reality.
You're saying that if they start investigating you, that you can play that game and investigate
better than them.
Can you compartmentalize that?
And I think I know more than they know.
Can you compartmentalize that and still continue to work with them for the benefit of the rest of the country?
No.
Or are all bets off?
No. If they do that, then it's just all it is a warlike posture.
I'm joined here on our final show of 2018 by Academy Award-winning filmmaker Michael Moore, whose latest documentary, Fahrenheit 11/9, is now available on DVD on demand, and that's the #1 documentary on iTunes. What are you most looking forward to in 2019?
As many members of the Trump family in orange jumpsuits as possible.
That seems mean-spirited.
It is really the wrong way to end such a festive time of the year with such animosity toward those who would do wrong to this country.
I mean, you're not alone. I will say that there are many people anticipating, actively looking for criminal indictments, people surrounding the president, which is not a crazy thing, given that we know that John Jr. has told people that he expects an indictment.
Yes. And Jared. And on and on. Listen, here's probably what won't happen, because especially New Yorkers know this, because Trump got away with everything for like 40 years.
He's been getting away with things for decades.
Yes. That streak shouldn't end this year, more than likely, because I think Trump has always been careful to be not in the room when the crime is being committed. And so
that's interesting. You think he's canny enough?
No, yeah. Oh, I think he's very canny.
I'm not disagreeing. I mean, I think there's evidence he's quite canny. But
yes. Self-preservation.
Yes.
Anything that has one self in it. Yeah. Anything that has to do with me. Yes, that is definitely. How does this affect me? Could this hurt me? Will I lose money? Can I make money? Everything is processed through that filter. So if something's going to happen in a room with Russians or others that could find him indicted, I think more than likely, because remember, he doesn't drink, he doesn't do drugs, he is of his own faculties. Yeah. He made sure that he wasn't in the room.
You know, one of the things that I look forward to most, which relates to this more than maybe seeing people indicted or orange jumpsuits, is just finding things out. Like there are still a bunch of facts that we don't know. There are indications of what happened, but I have a personal thirst to know like exactly what went down in 2016.
Yeah. I guess I don't.
Really?
I know. I really don't, because I already know. I already knew. I thought what was going to happen was going to happen, so it wasn't a surprise. And then I haven't been surprised by anything I've seen. I think that more important is what's going to happen next year. So what I would like to see happen is the number of women who ran for office in November, that we double or triple that for 2020. That people who are watching this at home right now, who are with family during the holidays, and maybe are thinking of running, whether it's for Congress, whether it's for state Senate, whether it's for city council.
There are off-year elections in 2019?
Off-year elections next year. Run. Make that your New Year's resolution. Why not you? Why not you?
Right.
Chris. No, you have a job. No, but it's a citizen's responsibility to participate. It's if you're called to serve, and this is your moment, all of us as Americans, to serve, to save this country, to move it forward, and to do the things that we want to do. How about this? How about a resolution by the media and myself and everyone else that we not let Trump control the conversation every single day?
I think that's a good resolution. Something that we've been talking about how to deal with that, although...
Show what he's doing.
Right. Again,
report what he says.
Right.
And then that's it.
Although, again,
let's talk about what we want to talk about.
I get that.
We set the conversation.
Right. I get that. At the same time, it's like in the midst of the Saturday Night Massacre, in the midst of the Watergate hearings, like that's the biggest story in the country, no matter what. You're not like letting Nixon set the tone for the coverage, right? Like on the weekend of the Saturday Night Massacre, that's the thing you cover, right?
Yes, but you're talking.
You see the dilemma, right?
Well, you're talking about 40 years ago.
But I think there's very good reason to anticipate events of that magnitude and impact happening in 2019.
You had to cover it that way back then because there were 3 networks.
Right.
Now there's 3,000 networks on social media, terrestrial, cable, whatever.
The aliens, they have their own.
The Astoria apparently was beaming something last night. I'm just saying that we should not allow him to set the agenda and the conversation. Let's go into 2019 talking about what we want, like Medicare for all. Let's just start talking about that. 70% of the American public,
Medicare for all.
52% of the Republicans want it, and 70% of the American people want it. That's the statistics.
In polling. I'm not saying that the idea does not sound good.
Don't go all anti-Kornacki on me here with the polling. No. The polling, you do have to pay some attention
It's a very popular idea. All I'm saying about it is that things in the abstract sometimes are different than they are in the political reality of something that.
That's so abstract. I don't even know what that means. But seriously, I really think that if we control the conversation, we're in charge. We have the power.
Yes.
We won the 2016 election. We have the most votes. We have more people now than ever thinking of running and should run in 2020. And this new freshman class in Congress has got to come in and really set the agenda and fight, or otherwise those people that came out in the midterms are not going to come back up.
I think the point about agenda setting, I think, is an important one, because one of the problems with unified governance when there's no Democrats is that the agenda is naturally set sort of unilaterally, right? I mean, the Democrats don't control either the House or the White House. It's hard, they can't really set an agenda. With the House, you have things like the select committee that's going to be on the climate crisis, the talk of a Green New Deal, voting rights, the Voting Rights Act, for instance, which the House can now pass, restore the part of the Voting Rights Act that the Supreme Court gutted. All of those things are now within the power of the Democratic Party to actually just put things on the table, which they couldn't do before.
Yes, and that is what the people are expecting the Democrats to do. Not to compromise, not to find the middle of the road, not to be moderate, but to fight for the people, fight for the things they want. Tonight, people are watching this right now. They're really quite scared about what's going to happen with the economy. There's
I don't disagree.
Civilians don't understand, and we're not those who are. We are. Right. I don't own a share of stock, so I don't pay any attention to this. But I know when I see a roller coaster, and when it shoots up and then shoots way back down and shoots way back up. You've got an economy with an opioid crisis, its own opioid crisis, where there is a crash that's about to occur, and people feel it. They feel it. They've been told that we have trillions of dollars of credit card debt, student loan debt, all these things where what's the shoe that's going to drop here if it's not the housing thing that was in 08.
Corporate debt.
And this is starting to feel like 07 right now. Right. And it really, so. Let
me put on my macroeconomic head for a second and just say, I think there's reasons to think we're not on the precipice of something similar to 2007. There's lots of worrying. There's lots of worrying things happening, particularly with corporate debt and the end of.
Well, one way it's not the same is that if you're booted out of your house, that's a serious issue. Yeah. They can't take back your college education.
Right.
That you're not paying them back for.
Yeah.
So that's.
You can't clear it in bankruptcy either. What are the things that you're. If the idea is that you want to see Democrats sort of put things on the agenda, you want to see people, I think a hard thing to do and an important thing to do is for people's civic activism to remain high, right? Running for office, still working in a year that's not like the midterms where everything was built towards that. What do you think the most important thing, the goal to accomplish politically this year is?
The most important thing is to not let down the people that came out. In 2014, I think the number is 21% of 18 to 29-year-olds came out to vote. This year was 31%. That's a 50% increase. We want them to come back.
Right.
They will come back if they see that the people they voted for are fighting for the things that they care about and the things that are important to them in their lives. If they see them becoming just regular politicians and just mouthing the same old political, politician stuff, they're just going to go, it's the same old thing. Nothing's changed for me. I still don't know what I'm going to do. I can't afford a home. I can't afford this or that.
Right.
But
part of the problem, right, is that the Democrats are not in a position to unilaterally deliver tangible improvements to people's lives with divided government.
But legislation takes a while. They need to research and put forth the right bills, and then you start pushing those bills through to the point where Republicans are going to need to see that in the year 2020. If some of them don't vote for those bills, if some of them don't vote for the things that, as I said, 52% of Republicans want Medicare for all. If they don't do that, then they risk losing their job. The Democratic Congress of 2019 needs to put the Republicans of 2020 on
On the
notice.
defensive.
On the defensive.
Which is why I think
And-
why I think bill number 1 is such a easy one for Nancy Pelosi, which is the vote to reopen the government on Mitch McConnell's table, which is sort of a no-brainer, but also does exactly the thing you're noting. Which
So
is
there's 10 minutes.
put
That'll
it
take
on
10
them.
minutes.
That'll take 10 minutes.
What's the next thing and things that we need to do? And for the people who are watching this at home, what can you do? Don't leave it up to the politicians. You get out there, you think about running, you get involved, join local organizations. Don't sit it out now, because believe you me, those people in power,
Involvement
Wall
works.
Street, corporate America, they got their cage rattled last month by that election.
Yeah.
And they're going to fight like hell to maintain the power that they have, and they're going to fail if the people watching this rise up in 2019.
All right, Michael Moore, thanks for making time. Happy New
Hey,
Year.
thank you. Have a good New Year, and good luck. Your show this year, Chris, has been incredible, and everything here on MSNBC.
Thanks.
You have proven that while you can have opinions, as long as you report the truth and the facts, people will watch a network like this. God bless you, and thank you for what you've done.
Thank you very much. Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.